Okay, I'm gonna leave this reading out on my table, and I had to go ahead and make like some preparations because these cards, as you can see, can be graphic. This is the order of elements. It's fire, air, earth, and water. The fire and air is now being shut down or needs to be flushed out, and these are going to be your dominants that need to be depended on more. It's talking about feeding. Feeding is just sustenance of any kind, okay, which you feed to your physical body, emotionally, mentally, physically, okay. So these things you need to bring to the forefront, or it depends. If you're a fire air sign, you can't rely on this. You need to focus on this. If you're earth sign, you need to make this is probably already earth and water. If you're already earth and water, this is already strong. You need to start doing this, okay. So just do one. I'm gonna just do one card on each one, and then I'll do a house or planet position. And this is why I don't do readings real fast. It's something about judgment and universal law, but the way I have it flipped is saying universal law. If you don't want to be under judgment, universal law, follow universal law. Not physical law, not government. You have to follow your body. So that those are the new laws means that you're under your physical vessel. Okay, your physical vessel. You're going to have to rely on the guidance of your physical vessel as opposed to authority, which is just, let me articulate that over time, because that's not saying not follow rules, but it's, you have to decide what's healthy for you outside of what everybody else is saying. I'll explain that more. You're not going to be able to follow a lot of situations. You're not going to be able to fall in line by following the system, is what I'm trying to say. All right, this is talking specifically about things that are throwing you off. Anybody or anything that comes in to throw you off your physical body, which is your head, arms, legs. But this means that something is pulling off of you, because the six, if it was a hexagram, is it a hexagram? If it was a 6-pointed star, it would mean that uh, it would be the ethers. The ethers would be there. The ethers is what you surround yourself with. But just to show you that card is peaking, this means draining. Now this word doesn't mean draining, but this card in my deck means that people pulling off of you. Like I said, throwing you off balance. All right. So let's do fire. This is talking about the environment of the cell. So the microbiome is the environment inside the cell. So this is becoming less dominant or shut down for certain people. What they can introduce into their cells. Let me get another card to explain that better. Root. So this is sexual activity, mixing fluids. As far as cells, what you eat, foods, refrain from foods that raise your blood pressure. Comfort foods, things that make you lazy or what is the word? Sleepy, sluggish. Especially foods, meat products, things that have fear in them, things that are living, and not everybody has a, I ain't gonna say a special diet. Some people eat flesh. Some people are actually not from here and eat flesh. But let's stay focused before I go off on a tangent. Less meat in the diet is causing a destructive environment to the cell. So this is definitely talking about flushing out the system and using discernment about what you put in the body. Your cells are how you see. The best explanation I can have for this is when you listen to music. Your cells are going to react and respond. They need to be in unison. And that's why they're telling you to flush them out. Your vision will improve if your diet improves. Your third eye is connected to your cells. Of course, they're going to tell you about the pineal gland and everything, but it started at a cellular level, okay? This will help you see if you flush your body out. I'm gonna see if I get downloads for certain things, because I'm trying to tell y'all, like garnet crystal will help you with what's that, DNA damage and cellular damage. Cellular debris though, there's one, I think it's fading quartz. I can't think off the top of my head. But this is what's connected to your vision. So if you change your diet, especially people that remove meat, it's going to take a lot of fear and panic out your system. So that's the fire side. Let's do the earth side. This is having heart. This is having heart, but it's also having heart issues, okay? But it's also about feeling. So the feeling needs to come online. It has to be stronger now. You have to listen to your heart when you feel something, especially if you cannot, you don't have proof. You have to trust your heart. That's confidence. That's vitality. That's actual life. The sun is life. That's life. That's confidence. If you want your heart to stay healthy, you're going to have to start honoring your desires, not your needs, not your wants, but more so your needs. Okay, your needs. The needs are to stay alive. The wants are just little little indulgences that you have, but don't go overboard with it. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you overindulge, that's you being in your pride or your ego in anything that you do. So you want to be aware of this, how it's connected to your this is just your battery, okay? Because your heart and mind got to get in sync, but that's your battery. Ego is very, very important here. Sperm. Okay, so the sperm, this is a composition of what is it? Not interference. I want to put it in a better term. This is, I was going to say injected. Give me a second. Let me articulate it without giving y'all too many words. This is a composition because we're all made of this, okay? But this composition is specific data. It's a specific agenda. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is this is an introduction to an environment that has specific intentions. This is discernment, okay? This represents an implant. If somebody, it's an implant. It doesn't matter. Like this is a part of you, but this is an implant, especially when it comes to flushing things out. This is a part of a makeup. It was something introduced with a specific intention. I'm feeling a foul intention that need to be flushed out because all the sperm I know has to be cleaned and charged. Okay, so this card right here, I don't know what this means. Y'all can look it up, but this card for me in this deck talks about somebody bringing something down from the ethers. Like I said, it has an intention with it. Like they specifically trying to create something. That's why children are a commodity, because this right here, this type of implant can change a bloodline, it can navigate a person and take them over. The life expectancy is 72 hours. I think that's what it is. But like I said, this can stay in a child their whole life. This have to be flushed out, which is more like beliefs. Like I said, this is a altered mental state, equivalent to sex magic. Okay, you can't create a being, or you create a copy or a clone to do your bidding. I'm gonna let it sit out here for a little bit, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to write down downloads while I get all of this stuff off, because the mother and the father is here, okay, with the sperm and the breast milk. This has DNA. This has DNA and decoded information. This right here is just like you have to be selective. Okay, this is something that you have to be selective with. It's like it's genetic information, like that. No, because that's genetic information. I'm trying to explain this. This right here is just like, of course it's genetic information, but I'm trying to give y'all an example. this does not hold life. This does not determine life, but you understand that breast milk does. That's why I said you gotta be careful what you eat. This right here just determines something. This right here actually gives life. It's gonna feed the DNA. It's gonna have to sit out, and I promise I will get downloads and I'm gonna do a part 2. I'm just, yeah. The order of the elements, it keeps coming out, and I don't know no other way to do it. I couldn't put it across because the order of elements is to ascend through this. This is how the order of elements goes. It goes through. It ascends. You cannot read it from left to right or right to left. That's not how it works. It ascends. I'm feeling information that I cannot interpret yet. Is why I'm doing it. I can't help it. I can feel my head blowing up like a balloon, but there's nothing I can do about it. Okay? So we have sustenance, what you take in mentally, physically, and emotionally. What feeds your DNA? What will heal your DNA and regenerate it? What will help you flush this out? Flush this out from going to the bottom to the top. Aries is the head. This talks about purging emotions, and it also talks about purging emotions for leadership, and it's also, it was something else. It was something else. Oh, rise in desire. So a rise in desire. You don't want, in order for you to get to leadership status in your life or whatever you're trying to create, because this is not necessarily a baby, it's talking about the creation of yourself, rebirth process for yourself. You have to purge or follow your desires. When it comes to following your desires, you need to go on a need basis instead of a want basis, because it's going to teach you who you are. We don't know who we are yet. We know what we've been taught or conditioned to be. So this is a process, okay? So whatever's behind this card, let me feel it real quick. I actually don't feel anything off the card. I feel very strong and very confident in the form of individuality. Like I feel comfortable with myself. Okay, stabilizing. Okay. Yeah, I feel very, very comfortable with myself. I don't know why the square is so significant. It's making me have resistance. It's almost like you had to resist this part. You had to resist this part of yourself. This is talking about an odd man out. Yeah, it's just a process that you're going to go through to make yourself comfortable, okay? So it's telling me to go here first. And that's what I'm saying. If the order of elements is here, why am I trying to go here? So we moved in order. And let's move. So if the order of elements started with masculine paradigm, we in a feminine paradigm. I think that's why they're telling me to go here. Because we're here now. Our main focus is here. Backwards. We're going backwards. I say that sometimes. We're going to go back in time to go to the future. We have to. Okay? So that card is definitely talking about outer space. It's talking about the universe. But it's also talking about being in a voided state. Do I have it all in the... I'm sorry, y'all. I'm an earth sign. If I try to do this too perfect, then it's going to get on my nerves. And I'm going to say, I don't care. So, yeah. Anyway. So, right now, this bringing the ethers down. It says accommodating, endless, motionless, open, expansive, enveloping, still, persuasive, comprehensive, and cosmic rays. I feel 5 is Mercury, so that's definitely information, but I feel claustrophobic with this. This is not the claustrophobic card. This is actually creating space. You got to create space by pushing something open. You have to push things out and push things away from you. You have to be strong and have resistance. Like I feel resistance, even though I'm trying to expand my space. Like I'm trying to get more space, but it's something trying to close on me. Something that wants me to feel claustrophobic. So that's possibly what's imposed on us. Like I said, this is an implant, something that has to be flushed out or cleared out of the DNA. It's like junk pieces of junk DNA. Okay, things that's unresolved. So it's more like a go with the flow type thing. You're gonna have to take risk, but calculated risk. Okay, calculated risk. Because you're gonna meet resistance if you're going and you're trying to what is it called, do the death and rebirth process. That's just more like know your audience. Okay. Any way you meet resistance or you feel like you're not uncomfortable, don't say nothing, don't protest, don't fight, go somewhere else. Keep changing your compass until you find that place. It's travel here is heavy, but astral travel is here. I already told you that's the universe. There's something about astral travel. There's something about ethers in this card. Okay, I mentioned all of those things, and I'm still feeling it. It's like the universe pressing in on me because it doesn't want to recognize this, but I mean it's gonna happen anyway. So now I'm picking up on something about the sperm, like they uh it's got to be clean and recharged. That's all I can say about that. uh that's a fire truck, something emergency. I don't know something with that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna get y'all downloads. I'll do a part 2. Too much information overload. Okay. All right. Taurus is significant again. 521 keeps coming up. I know what that means for me. I don't know what Taurus means for everybody else. The collective is just shifting. I will say this. Taurus is going through a spiritual shift where people's spiritual gifts are coming in, and that's overriding their material side. So the spiritual side is starting to override the material side. So you might see a difference in finances, like a lot of people bartering and doing things like that, or so a lot of people spending money differently, more donations, new charities, things that's in the old paradigm that we know is not working, less investment in stuff that we know is trash, whether it's development of companies or less money in the stock market. It's going to be some shift there. Okay, now we had a claustrophobic card. This is my claustrophobic card. That's what I felt pressing on me. I'm going to read y'all the keywords. For this one, it was accommodating. It says endless, motionless, open, expansive, enveloping, still, pervasive, comprehensive, cosmic rays. This one says movement. So this is accommodating. This is like trying to get you to do a certain type of thing. When it comes to being an individual, there is no way around it. Either you accept me or you don't, period. I'm not dealing with this garbage up here because it's trying to mentally manipulate me to say no. That is manipulation. That is an implant, okay? This right here says movement. That's where the claustrophobia is coming, because the heart wants to move past this. The heart doesn't want to be an ego. It wants to be expand. It wants to be happy. When you are in a space where you are, it's vitality, you accepting whatever identity, you feel alive, because it's not necessarily that you feel accepted. That's great that you feel accepted, but you can be yourself. It makes you feel like, it makes you seed into your soul better. It makes you comfortable, if y'all understand what I'm saying. So it says the sun is the chest, which is the heart, the face, the identity, confidence, skills, revolving, right, vitality, essence. Then the negative side is the negative side is the disputers. People that dispute you, people that challenge you. That's what puts you in the ego. Like, I gotta prove something to somebody. Ain't nobody got time for that. Eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You feed and give people life. People, places, and things life. That's an enlightenment here, because we got 6 and 5, which is an 11. But To have to constantly be in your pride or your ego means that you got to work. You got to put more pressure on your heart. You got to be, you're going to have to constantly overshoot yourself, because anybody that's bullying you, for example, or making you prove yourself, or you you are pressing, put more, way more pressure on the heart. So this talking about being in claustrophobic situations that you got to crawl your way out and fight your way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to know before you even get deep to where you get completely confined or restricted by a person, whether it's mentally restricted, physically restricted, or emotionally restricted. You're going to feel that off rip. That's why the heart is so important, and it's about listening to your needs instead of your wants. You know, you're going to be able to identify that much faster. Now my words is chopping up, but it's okay. It's cool. Whatever. Probably because I'm not getting along with this space. I don't care. Anyway, the next one is flushing out your system. Flushing out your system. There's something about this is just a recap. Feeding yourself with meat, fear. It doesn't matter where you getting the feeding from. The fear and what is the other word? Anything that keeps you in survival mode, like breaking even, like I'm never gonna get to where my goals are. Everybody's unhappy. Everybody's in crisis. Like, that's not a good place for you to be. Like, all of this stuff is going to, it's going to be flushed out this way. Okay? Because going this way is how we've always done. And then we start over, possibly with a baby or a new sexual partnership. This is also a belief. It's a mentality. It's an implant that stays in the ego, and instead of flushing out the personal system so you can be better and meet a better product. Everybody got to do it because it's a collective read. But anyway, back down here. Your system and your body is in survival mode. That is imposed on by the government, but it's also imposed on by the mother and father. It has been passed down, okay? Now it's time to find ourselves. Unlike our parents, we're going to find out who we are so we can chill out, because we done. The only thing we trying to accomplish is peace. And a lot of times, all of these contracts, houses, money, and all that stuff, a lot of people stressed out, okay? Now, flush out your system, you're going to be able to see. Aquarius. This is, I don't have enough space. I'm running out of space on my board. Aquarius is a collective, okay? I already said this was a collective read. But this is talking about matching a vibration. So your cells match a vibration. Now I'm explaining it to y'all, like I said, again, with Venus. Your cells talk to each other, and they let each cell lets the other cells know what is going on. If they are all feeling fear, right, because we feed them the same thing, it's going to be a fear-based response, okay? Let's say I don't want to make it too complicated. Let's use music, okay? If I am listening to music, sustenance, I'm taking in that sustenance. If I'm listening to some R&B music, all my cells will be sad. If I'm listening to, it's going to be in the past. If I'm going to be able to relate to it, but I'm just letting you know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be crying. If that's what I want to do and that's my intention, that's fine. But if I'm trying to get into the future and away from the past, it's not going to work. If I'm listening to heavy metal music and I want to break some stuff and get revenge, all my cells are going to communicate, and they're going to say, listen, this is what we're going to do. Venus and Mars are very, very strong, and people don't understand how much alike they are. Okay? This is where the confusion of passion and lust come in. You got to be able to break those two apart. But your cells will communicate together, and they will start dancing or reacting off of whatever they're hearing. So if you know, when you start tapping your foot, that turn into shoulder shaking, and that turn up to just full blown up, just dancing. You know what I mean? Because you telling yourself, yeah, the music you listening to is making you respond, as opposed to you being at the gym and you exercising, you forcing it. That's Mars energy. Venus is when I'm doing something great that I like. So another form of Venus is when I taste some biscuits that take me to grandma's house. All my cells are like, oh my goodness, we are in a period of space and time where we just gonna just sit back and be lazy, and we gonna think about the past, and we gonna stay here. Comfort foods. I hope I'm giving y'all the example. But if we change whatever we put in our diet and flush this need to, it's like self-soothing. If we flush that out, right, it's going to help us to match vibration and kind of see into the future, because Aquarius is a future future concept. a higher understanding. Now, I don't want y'all worry as much about this because the government had control over everybody to a point where we got more liquor stores and gas stations and just a bunch of trash. So when we go to try to have these options, like we want to change our diet, we want to do this. That's why I'm saying the stress got to come off of it. They got laws and stuff. All of that stuff gonna be taken care of. They know what they was doing. They're gonna get in trouble for it. And everybody that's already preparing with herbs, herbal remedies, and it's gonna lessen up organic farmers having to pay arm and leg to keep it, like all of that garbage. This right here is going to happen more for us, but it's going to start on a small scale, kind of a bartering, a trusting, a building up a customer ratings, but at a personal level. You get what I'm saying? This also talks about communities, people that think alike, because this is a community right here. Even though it's the inside of a cell, this card represents an actual community, like communal living. But there will be more options as far as vegan eating and all of the things out here that's garbage will be replaced, so we can just walk and have these healthy options for not just eating but therapies. You won't have to go to a clinic and a doctor. More mediation centers with different modalities where you don't feel like, oh, I'm scared to get help because I'm gonna be labeled or people gonna look at me funny. It's gonna be so. This transition is why everybody had to sit in quarantine and find out who they are, that they never was taught, and get these downloads to let you know, hey, you're a healer, you're this, you're this. But I thought I was this. My parents told me, no, you're not. That's why you're getting the downloads, so you can start doing the research and get your upload, so you can get out of the matrix and actually come back down and create a system that's going to actually heal the world in a small amount of time when they've been keeping us under this paradigm. Okay. Next is the environment, keeping us stuck in our root chakra. This environment could be anything: contaminated water, purposely contaminated with lead, processed food, food that is human instead of actual animal meat. Animal meat is a no too. I'm not completely vegan. Yes, I still eat meat, but I already know what I'm eating. You get what I'm saying? I'm not the one that's doing genocide. They're gonna be punished for it, but because they forced it upon us and told us lies. But I'm just saying that's why the system got to get flushed out, because it's a lot of poison in our system. They just have marketed to us, and we've been choosing it. Whether it's cigarettes, food, um, our type of person that we're gonna be with, all poison. They knew what they was doing. So this has to be flushed out the system, from the physical environment, the air that you breathe from another person, the company, the company that you keep, and the food that we eat, the TV that we watch, the media, the people that we know is not healed, that we still you're gonna start feeling them pull, and you're going to feel pain in your body when you watch people or hear certain things. It's going to trigger you. Either it trigger you to heal, or it's going to trigger you to be hurt, where you got to unsubscribe to a person or stop watching a certain thing because it's like something ain't right about that. You don't know everything, but you need to know that you need to turn that off till you figure it out. Okay. The sun. Ooh. Okay. So the sun is back, and the sun talks about movement. I want to slide these cards. That's a confirmation, right? The sun is movement. So the sun is here. Excuse me. Okay, let me read this for y'all. Excuse me. I'm clearing stuff. That's why I'm burping. I have not eaten yet. It says Aquarius, ruler is Saturn, scientific, visionary, humane, factual, intellectual, democratic, eccentric, global, and misunderstood. So this part right here, just to finish it up, this flushing out is all, it's talking about the global community, but it's talking about feeling claustrophobic because you've been forced to withhold your emotions and you haven't been able to express yourself. This space right here, the circle, is completely different from that space up there. That's the galaxy. That's manipulation of the universe. What do you call it? Negative cosmic architecture, where they force you to stay in a place in space where you are cloaked. We can't receive outside help. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to give y'all examples. Like, you know how the Earth is covered in satellites, and causes interference. You know, our cell towers, all this electricity causes interference. If our minds are open and we are the internet, and you getting messages for me, I'm getting messages for you. We don't need all of this stuff. It's a convenience to us, but it's overload because they keep chopping all the stuff that we need to breathe or eat down and replacing it with electricity or interference. That's an example. So um, this is going to help us expand in a shorter time, because a lot of people, this is a global resolve. Like, people don't want to hear nothing no more. They want to see it happen. And if they don't see it happen, I don't want to talk about that. But it's going to be some people on that tip, but I'm going to let you know. Because tempers are rising. But it's a lot of people that don't want to be in no uprising. They don't want to be in no rise. They don't even want to entertain that. This right here is global community. People that's like, hey, let's get in front of it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get in front of it, because we can't solve it on a political level, because politics is out. This is like your personal community. If we can't solve it, we're going to leave it. But it will take hold. Like I said, it's going to be, you're going to start to see things that can help us. Modalities, alternative medicines, herbal remedies with alternative medicines. Less need for doctors, lawyers, or police, stuff like that. The collective does not need that type of intervention. It makes you a prisoner. Go back down here. Sun, radiating authority, individual, leadership, charisma, self-reliance, dignity, loyal, determination, endurance. This right here is talking about balance, because now those repressed emotions, they're going to be purged out of you. They're going to purge out of your system. It's going to purge out your system in sweat. It's going to purge out your system through breakouts, hives, rashes, and things like that. A lot of things being purged out of the system. Some of that is going to take place for you, because the downloads from the sun is, of course, it's making everybody sweat. But even if you're inside, you just got to be conscious of this, because radiation. But you'll be in the sun rays under a tree, but don't be directly in it. I don't suggest that. Another thing is, it was something else I was going to say to y'all. It's something about balance or self-regulation. So this is talking about self-regulation and discipline, okay? So you're going to need to be in a disciplined environment. If you cannot have self-control around certain things, it's what you learn over time. You learn over time, I'm not good around this person. I'm not good when I eat this thing. I'm not good when I listen to this type. It puts you in a mindset that's not bringing you balance. That's the same thing I was telling you with social media and stuff like that. That's why these things have to kind of become dormant, so we can come up with a solution, because we're not able to think if we keep running, right? This purging is talking about talking like soul family more so than therapy. This is talking about speaking to groups of people that have like mindset, but it's speaking to people with a goal in mind, so they can feel like they still want to live, they still want to be on earth, there is something to live for, there is a place, like, it's soul family. It is definitely soul family that I'm feeling off of this card. I'm feeling soul family, but it puts you in a personal leadership. It make you feel like you're taking control over your personal life. You know, it's such a safe space, whatever this is, to feel vulnerable. Like, we gonna get cards, y'all, and I'm gonna do some downloads, whatever I get off of this, because I gotta I have to sit my stuff still for a long time, because I would go nuts. Okay, but this is all personal accountability that will lead to a complete it will lead to complete global reform. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to be. I'm thinking about it's personal reform, but at a global level. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Now I'll do a part 2 with more information. This is purging out the ego, because remember, the ego was up there. That ego is what's keeping you in survival mode, having to prove to people something. And you shouldn't have to do that. I wish I had. I'm not going to say I wish I had, because I want to get more cards, but I'll wait. I got some cards coming today, and that's what we're going to do. When I come back in with a part 2, I'll pull the cards out for that. But vulnerability. So last thing before I turn it off. This has to take precedence over everything. Manipulation from the father's DNA. Whatever information came with the father has caused some interference. Okay? That needs to be flushed out the system. You always need to be selective, especially if you're making a child or creating anything. You need to be selective and use discernment. Because the person may not be evolved. You can create a karmic child. You may be a karmic child. That means clean it out. It's not saying it's gonna be easy, because you're gonna get resistance while you're trying to find yourself. But groups will be, as we go backwards, it's gonna be places that have already developed for you to come and unload this stuff and make it easier. Heart and the ego and movement. Claustrophobic as you learn and accept who you are while you in this whole thing of accountability. Communal living. Finding your soul group. Global reform. Because this is self. This is dominant. This is dominant. This is what did I say? Fire and air is becoming dormant or needs to calm down. So this is flushing out the system to get global reform. You flushing out your cells and cleaning out your community. Whoever you have in your environment is going to bring you in alignment with vibrational matches, and it will lead to global reform. Because it's going to be, instead of one person, it'll be many, and get things done. It's almost like I'm getting another download too, where we come up with our own systems, like I said, with charity, and nobody funnels to those things. Those projects don't get money. Those people don't get support because nobody wants to vote anymore. Nobody wants to. Y'all, it's too much. But anyway, a lot of people just start participating in systems that don't work. To make a long story short, y'all can put your own spin on it. But anyway, this right here is taking accountability at the smallest little level about how you feed your ego, or what you taking in that's causing you to be in fight or flight, regardless of what the substance is. Okay, because this right here is escapism. We can't escape nowhere no more. That's not even an option. We are all aware of where we are. It's hard to stand outside in the sun and ignore that it is the sun and what it's doing. You know, so there are some people in delusion, and some people in denial, and the only person that need to accept it is the person that's trying to change and get away from it. You don't disturb that person. Let them wake up on their own. But yeah, I'll make a part 2 sometime. Oh, when the cards get here. I don't want to rush it, so maybe a day. But okay, thank you. And my computer's dying. Oh my God.